Official Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 205. As this week, me, RGT, I'm joined by very special guest this week. That's Rowan Fox-Noble, and Rowan Fox-Noble is from MBPUK. So how you doing, Rowan?
Hey there, I'm not too bad, thank you. Do very well, very well.
Good. Yeah, great pleasure to have you on. And we'll go into, if you haven't heard of Rowan and his company, we'll go into him a little bit more in the show in a little while. So stay tuned, have a listen, see what he does. And I'm sure as gamers, you're going to be interested in what Rowan does, because we here at UCP Towers, we love it. We think it's brilliant what he does.
Oh, stop you.
Yeah. But yeah, as the format of the show, Rowan, what we go into first, we do a little section called What You've Been Playing. So what you've been playing lately, Rowan?
What have I been playing lately? That's a very good question, actually. There's been a list that I want to get through, because there's been new games out like Pal World and that. I want to play that with friends. But actually, recently in my spare time, I've been replaying Tears of the Kingdom a little bit.
Oh, really?
So yeah, because I watched some YouTube videos where people did some crazy mechanics and that, contraptions and all that sort of stuff, and it just really got me going. I was like, you know what, I want to just build some stuff and just fly around Hyrule or do some bits, discover some new areas, a bit more lore. And yeah, that's what I've been doing, really.
Such a good game, isn't it? Tears of the Kingdom.
It is. It's very, very good.
Do you think? I mean, a lot of people I speak to think it's an amazing game and it's a step up from Breath of the Wild. But is it better than Breath of the Wild? Because I think Breath of the Wild had that shock factor because it's a completely different format to the Zelda series. So do you think a lot of people said, it feels like an add-on to Breath of the Wild? But
I can understand why people say like it's like DLC in some sense, but I mean, if you think about how much there is, it is a whole new game. It's set in the same world, and it's nice that it's set in the same world.
Yeah.
But the whole mechanics of it essentially are completely different, or a lot more heightened, should I say. Like Breath of the Wild set like the groundwork, and then Tears of the Kingdom is actually like the final game that you could see in Breath of the Wild, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I put well in 100 hours in both those games. I think they're some of the best open world games there is, just for the environment and just how you feel in that world. I think it's brilliant what they've done there. And yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is fantastic. So anything else you've been playing, Rowan?
I started replaying Horizon Zero Dawn, actually, Forbidden West as well.
It's funny you should say that. I'll get onto that as well soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's I wanted to play like Spider-Man 2. I haven't got that yet, and that's a really good game.
Good game.
But one I remember, because I really liked the first Horizon game, and I was like, I really wanted to see how the story progressed, but I started playing like a couple hours in, and then I stopped. So now I've restarted it so I can go through and sort of actually, because I did like the story in the first one, and then I never did the second one to know what happens.
Yeah, that's very similar to me, really. I've started about a week ago, and I've chucked so many hours into Horizon, and that's my third time. Yeah, and that's the first one, and it's my first time of actually trying to play it properly through. I'd played twice before and just fell off it. It didn't click with me at all. And then talking to George the other week, he said, look, you need to play it. You need to get on Forbidden West, play it, really stick it out first 10 hours. And, well, that's it. I just want to play it every minute I can now. And within a week, I've chucked so many hours in within a week. It's scary. So I'm getting actually close to the end of the first one. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, so absolutely loving that.
The first one was so good. Like, I was really encapsulated. So like, I'm really looking forward to this one.
I think it's just it's got your standard tropes of an open world game, but I think it's just this really unique story. So whereas I like that in our times we find ancient stuff which is prehistoric, but in their times they're finding ancient stuff which is actually better technology than they got. I think it's that switch, that role reversal. I think it's very clever, very unique, and it just makes you want to carry on and get through that story and see how that all evolved and what happened. But really, really enjoying it now. Now it's clicked. Brilliant. Anything else you've been playing till, Rowan?
I mean, not too much really. I've had my nephews sort of like here there. So, I've been playing Luigi's Mansion 3 with them a little bit.
Oh,
Like I said,
great
I've
game.
been playing, I've been watching them and then saying, oh, maybe try over here. Or,
Yeah,
that old chestnut,
yeah.
which has been quite nice and quite fun. But yeah, that's been about it really for the week so far. So
Yeah, I love those Luigi Mansion games. I mean, I've actually played them in reverse. I've still got to play the first one. Don't ask me why I've done it like that. But when my wife bought me a Switch Lite a few years ago for Christmas with Luigi's Mansion 3, I played through that and just loved it. So I ended up getting Luigi's Mansion 2 for the 3DS. Played through that and loved it. So I've just got to get the GameCube one now. So I've played them in reverse. But such a unique idea. Brilliant games.
they are. I think they're
So
all
much
remastered as well on the Switch, so you can actually all get them on the.
Oh, are they really? Oh, I didn't know
Or
that.
the second one's coming out this year or next year.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, and there was just something about that series I just love. It's so addictive, so well put together.
It's a different mechanic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's like a Disney horror game in the sense because you can't be like really scary, like Resident Evil because it's for like family friendly. But they do like jump scares, but the ghosts look cute most of the time or something.
Yeah,
sweet, But it is. It's just a fun thing, and especially when you have younger ones and that playing with them, it's
yeah,
it is really nice for them to sort of get a bit scared or try new things. And yeah, mechanical wise, it's a really different game that they took in rather than like a normal platformer or sort of 2D sort of side scroller and that sort of thing. So yeah.
And I noticed as well when George made a good point. I hadn't noticed this till he said that when you play in handheld mode, the actual room fits the size of the screen. So you actually you're looking back into a room. And I've never noticed that until I actually did try it in handheld. And I thought, he's right. It's actually sort of letterboxed for the size of the Switch screen on Luigi's Mansion 3. So when you're at each room, you're sort of looking back into the room.
Wow.
And so then when I played Luigi's Mansion 2, I had on the 3DS, I had the 3D on. And that looks so good because you do look into the room. The 3D looks fantastic on it. And I'd never noticed it before, but obviously you sort of scroll through each room as you go through, but they actually perfectly fit the screen. That's great. Yeah, great little idea they've done. And it just makes it look so good as well. Graphically, it looks brilliant.
Yeah, they've really done well, like with the latest one.
But yeah, is that all for you? What you've been playing, Rowan?
Pretty much recently. I kind of
busy, I suppose.
Well, yeah, it's been a bit sort of busy sort of month or so, and I've got weirdly enough, I've got like a few life projects on. It's one of those things where I kind of was like, yeah, I'll do that, and then I've kind of gone, I'm doing a little bit too much.
Yeah, sometimes you can overload yourself a bit, can't you?
A little bit, yeah, but no, it's been really, really fun, and it's nice to game when I can. There's classics that I play with friends here and there when I can, like Satisfactory, if you know that.
Oh, I don't know that game, no.
It was a PC game. It's in early access, I think, still. But essentially, it's a factory building game, but you're on like a first-person mode on an alien planet type thing.
Oh, okay.
And it's just really relaxing and just fun to do. And you can do it multiplayer. So like me and my friends, we just get together and build some factories and relax. And
that sounds like that'd be right up George's street. He loves them sort of sim-based games and like what's the Little Workshop one he played? I can't remember what it's called. I think it was Little Workshop. Same thing, you run a factory and let the workers do their bits and pieces and build up as you go and make better products. So yeah, that'd be right up his street.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Right, well, over to me. This week, everyone will be pleased to hear I've finally, with the help of my brother-in-law, finally finished Halo 2.
Oh, nice.
Because I'd missed a lot of the Xbox exclusives. So the last couple of years, I thought, now I've got Series X and 360 and all the other consoles. I thought I'm going to go back, because I was always PlayStation, so I missed a lot of these.
Yeah.
Let's go into them. So last year I'd done Halo 1, started Halo 2, and I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't remember what happened in the second half of the game. So I started it again. This is on original hardware. Started it again. Didn't finish it, and then I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I've got a Series X now, and Boba, bless him, from our community manager, sent me the Master Chief Collection.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, that looks good. That remaster looks good on a Series X, upscaled to 4K. It's still got the essence of a original Xbox game, but just looks stunning. That looks so good. But yeah, my brother-in-law had been watching the Halo series, and we get together in the game shed every few weeks and have a blast on some games. And he messaged me and said, "I've been watching this series. I really want to play Halo." And I said, "Well, funny enough, I'm trying to finish Halo 2. Do you want to help me?" So we sat here one afternoon and we blasted through it and finished the game. Brilliant. Nice. Absolutely loved it, and especially with them updated cutscenes they done. I know it was an Xbox One game, but they done in cutscenes and they look phenomenal. They look like
they do, yeah, they really do. They've done like as a sort of remastered collection. I think they've really done well with that. I like the way as well. I think on some of them you can switch back to the old graphics, so what it used to be, and then
stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you like video games, podcasts, and reminiscing? I'm actor, video game writer, and total sweetie pie, Connor Savage McCabe, and on each episode of Call Me By Your Game, I sit down with a guest for an intimate look at a special game from their past. Did you and your dad beat Spyro the Dragon over the holidays? Or was Halo 4 the one thing that united your roommates during your senior year of college? Stories like these are what Call Me By Your Game is about. From video game content creator Janet Garcia to Hades voice actor Courtney Vinay's, I interview wonderful comedians and game industry friends about these memories. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe someday you'll call me by your game.
And also, I think as well, I mean, if anyone out there, if you've got a Series X, if you haven't played Halo, you can pick the Master Chief Collection up off eBay for £5 to £8. And there's like Halo Anniversary, Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, I believe it's called, Halo 4, Halo Reach, all on there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of games on there for the money, and they all look good. So, yeah, if you haven't played Halo, you've got a Series X, pick that up.
I've got the Master Collection myself because I never completed ODST. And Dave, we'll talk about it later, but Dave from Timeless and that sort of thing, he was like, well, have the Master Collection, we'll play ODST. So, you know, we did that like late last year a little bit, and need to complete it. But, you know, it's good fun. Like,
great.
They're great.
Great little collection of games as well for the money. You know, like I say, if you haven't played them, get them for your Series X because they're a no-brainer. But yeah, so got that completed. Hopefully, going to crack on the Halo 3, depending on what other games happen this week.
I love Halo 3. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking for. A lot of people said to me, "Oh, that's my favourite. You'll enjoy Halo 3. That's going to be good." So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Also this week, Final Fantasy VII Remake I started.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, as most people know, listen to the show, JRPGs and never really been my thing. I missed all the Final Fantasies back in the day. But when they made this remake, there was something about that story and how it looked. I just thought, I want to be in this world. I want to play this adventure. Yeah. Started playing it, and I just got completely lost with all the elements and the bits you add on and the extra moves, because that's almost like part live action, part turn-based, where you can click between actions, and I just got lost. But luckily, again, my brother-in-law came to rescue because he's a Final Fantasy buff and absolutely loves them. And he's played every game from the original first game all the way through. He's completed them all, yeah. And he's now collecting all the steel tins and bits. He loves the game. So I said, look, when we finished Halo, can we just start Final Fantasy VII Remake and just show me where I'm going wrong and what to do? So we spent a couple of hours playing, or 2 or 3 hours playing the first part of the game, and then showed me how it all worked. And then I think it's clicking. But I'm loving that story and how they set the scenes and starts like a movie. And it is beautiful what they've done with that remake. Like, especially because I'm guessing you're on the first one. Like, like when you think of the original, it's a smaller part of the whole story. If that makes sense. And they've expanded that out to this whole world and game in itself, and it's remarkable what they've kind of done all of everything. And the ones after that, I haven't played them myself yet. I know about them because I was gonna get them and thingy. But yeah, it's insane. My friend's played them all. Like he's gone through it, like completed 100%. You know, all the bits and bobs. But yeah, they're just so beautiful. Well, I mean, I'm not. I've got my PS5 indoors. I'm not playing on PS5. I'm playing on PS4 Pro. on a 4K telly, but even so on a PS4 Pro, it looks stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, at times you almost think there's ray tracing, even though you know there isn't. It's the reflections and the lighting and how they set scenes with the lighting. It's phenomenal. I mean
I find Final Fantasy games to be like that anyway. I remember when it was like Final Fantasy X or something on the PS2. And, you know, when you looked at those cutscenes, or when you looked at some of the scenes and how it looked, I was like, damn, that looks absolutely beautiful. You know, like head and shoulders above anything else around.
They seem to know how to get the best out of consoles. And I knew they were getting the best out of mine because my PS4 Pro sounded like a Chinook when I was playing that. So at the end, that was still going after I turned it off. And I was thinking, that's probably maxing that out a little bit there. But yeah, loving that. So I'm hopefully getting to more of that this week. We also, me and my brother-in-law also, when we get together, we always play random golf games. Don't ask why. We always have fun. We have a couple of beers. Why not? And I found one in CEX. People who follow me on Instagram or seen on our Discord, I picked one up called International Pro Golf for the PS2, and I paid the grand sum of 50 pence for this game.
Nice.
So we said, come on, we've got to play this. And have it. When we first started, I was just like, my God, I didn't know they could actually, this has gone from the other end of the spectrum. How can they make a game look so bad?
Okay.
And it was really hard to get the shots off. We're all over the place to start with. We were going out of bounds and in lakes, bunkers. But then it sort of clicked halfway around the road. That was actually quite a good game for 50p. That was quite a good game. Yeah, it is. It looks like someone's maxed out a PS1 graphically.
Okay, well, it's got charm then.
And each golfer walks like they have no bend in their knees. So they're very rigid, which is quite funny. But actually, as a golf game, it's for 50p. It's quite good at what it does. So it's actually quite a good, fun golf game. If you can overlook
the bargain, that's what I'll say.
Yeah. So that we had a couple of rounds of that. That was good fun. Played that. And finally, what we were just talking about, Horizon Zero Dawn. George got me back onto Horizon, said, you've got to play it through. There's so many of the PlayStation exclusives I haven't finished, which is a disgrace, I know. So he said, right, get on Horizon and just really push through the first 10 hours, and then it'll make sense. For some reason, it clicked with me. And I know George probably won't like this, right, because I know he didn't like this game. But this game, when it clicked with me, reminded me of another open world game I loved, and probably about the best one I thought in the series, which was Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah.
It really clicked with me with that. And that game, I platinumed that. I put 120, 130 hours in that game. Yeah, I didn't get on with Odyssey. I didn't get on with Valhalla. It was just Origins for some reason. I think I liked the story. I liked Bayek, the character, and I think it clicked. And I find this very similar. I think it's well paced. I think you haven't got a map that's completely riddled with question marks, where you just got to go and fetch someone's stick from a lake. You know, it's a bit more story led. Everything makes sense, and it's a unique story. That whole flip turn. You know, like we were discussing, that whole flip turn of that the past has got better technology than the future, and you have to work the story out and where it all leads. It's fascinating, and I'm really enjoying it. And I had a few days off last week, and I put so many hours in this. I think the first 3 days I put 24 hours in this game.
Yeah, which
is quite unlikely to hit a game like that. So I think now I've been back to work this week, so I haven't had too much time, but I think I'm about 34, 35 hours in. I think I've got about 3 missions left of main story before completing. But yeah, it's clicked, and I'm absolutely loving that game.
Oh, I love that. Well, that gives me hope then, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what it was before. I don't know whether them sort of games hadn't clicked with me before. I might have played it before Assassin's Creed Origins, so that open world format and what you're supposed to do and how you do it and where you go didn't click, and I didn't quite know what I was doing. And so I sort of give up. Then I tried again and put about 10 hours in, and I just sort of fell away. But I think this time that did click. I think George was right, and now I just, can't put it down. So I'm looking forward to finishing that and getting on to Forbidden West.
Nice.
So that's all I've been playing. We'll do a bit of housekeeping now. As you all know, we've been mentioning the last few weeks our subscriber packs. So you've got, anyone who hasn't yet, you've got till 21st of February. Any sub from $1 to $10, and you're entitled to our early adopters pack, which you get a T-shirt, you get fridge magnet, you get a postcard, and you also get an episode of your choice recorded on cassette tape for that retro feeling.
Wow, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So so that'll be good. So if you want to jump on board with that, then obviously after 21st of February, we'll announce tiers for the different donations, so you can go from that. But also, thanks to everyone that has done it. We've had an amazing response. Been brilliant, overwhelmed with it, and it really does. I know you hear this all the time on YouTube and different people, but it really, really does help the show with the run and costs. Just from a weekly basis to merch to bits and pieces, that all helps, and it all goes back in the show 100%. So thanks to everyone. And like I say, if you're interested, when you listen to our shows, go down the description at the bottom that says support the show. You can click on there, and the rest is straightforward. But yeah, thanks to everyone. So if you're interested, remember 21st of February. Also, while we're on that, I don't know, this is where we first met you, Rowan, at Timeless, wasn't it?
It was, year. Yes.
We were on tables next to each other, table buddies for the day.
We were table buddies, and we are having a merry old time all day long.
We did, didn't we? Had a great time there, which is more reasons to, if you want to go to Timeless this year, you can jump on our Discord. If you want to join the Discord, you can join the Discord just for this if you want. Jump on, go into our affiliate links, and you'll see a Timeless affiliate link there, and there is a code, which is TUCP24. Type it in, you'll get a discount on checkout for your tickets. So that's TUCP24, and come say hello to us at the show. We had a fantastic time last year, didn't we, Ron? Really good, great day.
Absolutely. It was the first one that I went to like that, and it was just absolutely the best.
Yeah. And Mags and Amy who do it, I don't know how they organise that day. I mean, that is incredible. That's a lot of work to organise, and it just runs smooth as silk. It's brilliant. You've got different guests on stage. You even had us on stage last year. I mean, if you
yes, you did.
Yeah. So there's various different people come on stage, guests. They have cosplay. Not only that, you're in Bury Arcade Club. It's one of the biggest arcade clubs in Europe.
So you've got 4 floors, isn't it?
4 floors, hundreds of machines, and they've got everything. So not only that, with your ticket, you've got free play for a day.
Yeah.
Any machine you want for the day. That's included in the price of your ticket. So give it a look. I know there's a few guys in our Discord are sort of getting together, road tripping it. They're organising time off work. But this is on Wednesday, 14th of August. So, yeah, that's a Wednesday, 14th of August. If you fancy it, get on board, get your tickets booked, have a look at our link, which will take you to their website. And it's definitely worth it because it's an absolutely fantastic day. I will just move on to, finally, challenge accepted this month. If you don't know, or it's the first time listening, on our Discord channel, one of our members, Digital Monkery, he does a monthly high score challenge.
Cool.
Yeah, so we've had Mario Kart fastest, I think it was 7 laps around the Baby Park circuit, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, people were I couldn't get nowhere near them. The times people were putting up, I was like, "How are you doing that?" Honestly,
like some of them are insane. Like, have you ever seen like speedrunners and that's well when they did? I don't know how or what. It's just
when we were playing that one on the Mario Kart, and I thought, I'm going to look up and see what the speed run is, and I thought, how have they done it in that time? So I actually watched them do it and thought, I honestly don't know how they've done that. I don't. Honestly, that is crazy. But we have a guy on our Discord called Ginge, who's he's a bit of a platinum hunter on the PlayStation. I think he's like 490 platinums. Might be 500 platinums. Yeah, he's every game plats it. He's an absolute legend. And I think he got a Switch quite late. I think he got it around Christmas time. He literally jumped on the Switch, bang, quickest time. There you go, guys. Won. And they're like, have you done that? I've been playing this for a month and can't get nowhere near. But that's the good fun of challenge accepted. There's a different one each month. This month is Pac-Man.
Love that.
Play it on whatever you want, emulators, there's different ways of playing it. Some of us got arcade machines of playing on there. But as Pac-Man, your highest score with 1 life. All right, highest score with 1 life. I haven't even posted my score yet, so I do apologise, Digital Monkey. I did promise I'd do it this weekend, so I will try as of recording this afternoon. But at the moment, I think Boba was top with 10,340. But I think yesterday, Scott, Mr. Marathon Gaming off YouTube, I think he suddenly dropped in with 11,660. So as of recording, the new league table isn't up yet, but I think Scott might be just winning that at the moment. So come on, Boba, we need you to reply on that and see if you can take him down. But yeah, so that's good. And the good thing about these challenges are they're quick.
Yeah.
They're not like big game playthroughs. We've done that before, and that was quite awkward because you have a month to play a whole game and people fall away. But this is a great idea because you can have a go in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the games he's used, and you've got multi-formats. So you can jump on some, like these, you can play these on your phone. You play Pac-Man on your phone.
Yeah.
Have a quick score at work and upload your score, So, yeah, jump on board. It's on our Discord, and that's in a section called Challenge Accepted.
Love that.
It's great fun. That's so great fun.
I'm tempted to go myself, but to be honest, like I'd only get like 1,000 points and die.
Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to be. I mean, I think last month we done international track and field.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
We've got a guy in our Discord called Fat Zangief. hello, Simon, and he's an absolute master at this game. And he posted his score, which was like 98 meters on javelin on international track and field.
Ooh.
I was like, I'll have a go at that. Tap my weight, 30 meters. I'm like, how's he done 98 meters? I think the close I got was 76. But he was even that good. He showed us how to throw a javelin for a UFO. There's an Easter egg in there where you can actually get a UFO in the sky if you get the angle right and go straight up.
Wow.
So yeah, he won that. He was very good at that. So he won that. Yeah, bless him.
Good game to him.
So that's very interesting, very good, and it's quick to pick up and plays. Well, without further ado, we better get on to our guest, Rowan, which is you. So
it is. I am a guest today. Hello.
So obviously you're owner of MBPUK.
Yes.
Give us a little rundown what that stands for and what you do.
Yes. So it's a funny story actually, because MBPUK originally was like a bit of a throwaway at the time.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll give you a bit of history if that's all right. Why not?
You certainly can.
So yeah, when I first made these, it was a little hobby to myself. And when I put them on a few Facebook groups of like, this is what I made at, excited and all that sort of thing, people wanted more. So I opened up an Etsy shop, and it said you have to title it something, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to title my shop. I just wanted to put it on a platform where people can, and I can process it and that. And a friend of mine, whenever we do something together, we used to stream a little bit and that sort of thing. We used to be called MBP, which stands for Master Blade Productions, or Master Blade Phantoms, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Zelda fan, so it's the Master Sword, and he's a Kingdom Hearts fan, so it's sort of the Keyblade. So that's the play part. And then Phantoms is for Persona 5, because we both like the music and everything from Persona series. It's just amazing. So that's what we were called, you see. So then I put it as that, and then it said it had to be at least 5 characters. So I just chucked on the UK at the end, essentially. But then when they released and more people got the thing and it went on a YouTube video and everything, it grew and everyone started knowing me as MVP UK. And I was like, oh, damn, maybe I should start actually having a name, but I'd have to then change my name and it might cause confusion. And it only took someone in like some YouTube comments, I can't remember who it was, but I thanked them so much that they were like, what does MVP stand for? And he was like, obviously it means manual booklet prints in the UK. And I was like, yes, it does. Absolutely. Yeah, sure. That's what it means. Of course.
No way.
And it's been that now ever since. Manual booklet prints, UK.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's a brilliant story to get in your name.
Yeah.
I always wondered how you come up with it. I knew it was manual booklet prints, but I just assumed because if that's what you did, I didn't realise there was a side story to how you got it.
No, it was like a year and a half of like me figuring out like, should I call it like one-up manuals or one-up thing, or something like that. But yeah, and then someone's like, this is what it means. I was like, thank you so much. You have saved so much hassle.
Oh, fantastic. Well, let's go a bit on about you. Where did your gaming journey start? What got you into gaming originally? Was it like an arcade machine or going around someone's house, or was it your first game you played or first console? What really sort of sparked gaming with you?
Well, for me, what I'd say, the first like memories I have was going into down the high street. We had those sort of like like DVD sort of rental sort of shops, but it had like bits of everything else. And my parents got me an N64 with Super Mario on it. And I still got the box and the console and everything to this day because it's beautiful.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, the box is in not great condition, but it's fine. But yeah, I remember playing it and it just got me hooked. And, it's just something I really loved. And I wasn't like the most socialist crab sort of out there. I did play with people, but especially when going through school and that, I was a bit of the bullied kid a lot. And so I didn't really like doing things. And to more get out like frustration and that sort of thing, instead of like getting anger out on someone, I'd kill someone in Smash Bros instead. And, it kind of flooded the sort of releases of the
a lot of productive anger that way, putting it into something, diverting into something else,
And then it came to games like, because I wasn't much of a reader either, but I really wanted to play Zelda Ocarina of Time when I was younger, and it came out. So then I'd learned to read through playing the games and that sort of stuff because, I found myself wanting to learn to read because I was excited in the story and everything going on, rather than just sitting with a book. Not that, my imagination's not, it's good. I have a good imagination and everything, but it's just, I find reading a book very, especially one with no pictures or something like, for me.
You need that sort of visualization to keep it locked in,
Yeah. So with this one, it was kind of like I had free roam. I could do what I want. I could talk to that person. I could, and it really encapsulated me as a child. And then it grew from there. I loved playing video games, and I stayed like in the sort of Nintendo area when I was younger, more or less. My sister had like the PlayStation sort of side of consoles. So, she had like Kingdom Hearts, Heart of Darkness, and all that sort of stuff. Which was they were great games, and I always used to watch them with her. And then when I grew up, sort of more, I got the GameCube versions. I sold my GameCube stuff to get a Wii, which I don't regret, but now I kind of did regret because I had to buy it all back when I started wanting to collect them again.
Yeah, well, I think we all done the same thing. I was my first console. I'm going to show my age a little bit here, but it was it was a computer, which was ZX Spectrum was my first one. And
wow,
yeah. But then to get a Master System, you sold your Spectrum to get your Master System. Then you wanted a Mega Drive, you sold your Master System to get your Mega. It's what you've done, And I know we always say this, and I always bring this up. A lot of people moan about the games going up to £70. My brother-in-law was paying £70 for SNES games back in the 90s, So it hasn't changed that much price-wise. But yeah, it's expensive. So when you're younger, you need to fund that by getting rid of your old consoles. But that was two of my next questions, actually. I mean, obviously you've said you've been playing Horizon and PS5. Are you predominantly Nintendo, or do you obviously got a PS5?
I always hold a special heart on Nintendo, because for me, I've grown up with Mario and Zelda a lot, so, and those games just always seem to give joy and stuff when playing. I always get a bit nostalgic or excited to play those games and everything. And so a lot. I mean, that's why I also do Switch manuals, and or why I started with Switch manuals. And it seems to be the priority of ones on the list, really, that people would like. So there is a big special place for Nintendo and that sort of thing. But otherwise, especially now when I've got adult money, I do have like a PS5, PS4. Some other retro consoles or the mini classics. And I do have an Xbox Slim S, you see, but weirdly enough, I went more with the PlayStation side because of their exclusives and everything. I did really like them. And I found that because of my work and everything, I like having a reasonable PC power. And so having it on the Xbox Pass and everything kind of negated the Xbox for me in
that's quite interesting, all with what's sort of going on in the news at the moment with Xbox and console sales and bits. It's quite interesting you've said that by having the PC with Games Pass on doesn't really give you the need to buy the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, if they had exclusives, because it used to be Halo, and so I got the Xbox S at the time and everything for the Halo games, and that's I really do like Halo. I remember playing it a lot when I was younger, because my friend, he had an Xbox, and then it was when I was in my teens, I got an Xbox Elite, I think. So we could play Halo together or Call of Duty and that sort of thing. And yeah, like it whole, I love playing the Halo games and everything. And also I had like a 4K Blu-ray player, and surprisingly it was cheaper to get that than an actual 4K Blu-ray player.
Yeah. So I know a few people that bought them for that. And I mean, I harken back to the amazing sales of the PS2. Chucked a DVD player in, and suddenly it's cheaper to buy a PS2 than it is a DVD, or hence
absolutely
100 and whatever it was, 50 million sales. It's a great idea, really. It's a tactical way to get your console sold. But you touched on a little while ago, you bought some bits back, collecting your stuff. Do you class yourself as a sort of video game collector, retro collector? Have you much of a collection?
Yeah, I'd say like I have it is a collection that's like a fun collection, shall we say, or a memory lane collection. Because I have like a load of, and I have like about 60, 80 N64 games, something like that, and I have like a load of GameCube games that were from my childhood, but also like ones I've gone like these are ones I wanted to play when I was younger and I didn't get the chance, so I've bought them so I could play them, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's that sort of. I think it's why a lot of us get in. That's that nostalgia kick at first when you first start collecting. Yeah, you just think, I remember playing that. Pick one of the consoles up, pick the games I played up, and then that's sort of how I started. But then you start sliding into, actually, I always wanted to play that game and I never got it, and you start expanding, your library a bit as to games you wanted as a kid and never had.
Yes, and I find as well, like is I know some people go like, if I had the space and the money and the storage, having a full set of N64 games collections or GameCube and everything would look really cool and everything. But like, I don't have all the space in the world. So it's, at the minute, especially, it's more just like it's a fun collection for me. I think this game's going to be fun, or it looks really cool, or it has like a unique mechanic. Because there's some games, I can't remember it now, but I got a game on the Game Boy Advance where. And I never played it when I was a child, but it has an attachment that you put in, and it's a solar thing for the game. So it picks up light from outside, and then it gives you power in the game to use throughout the game.
No way.
Yeah. And I thought that was really, really cool, really unique mechanic.
Yeah, it is.
So
that is good when devs try something different like that. It's you just think, why would you try that? But then you think, what a brilliant thing to do.
Yeah, I find back then, like with Game Boy Advance or prior, not necessarily GameCube now, but N64 or SNES, when it was the cartridgey ones and everything like they could put their self-proprietary stuff on there, and it would alter the games and all the hardware inside and everything like that. Where now, it's all just disc or cartridge, so you don't really have the space to change it up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a bit more bottleneck now as to what we expect from a certain genre of game, rather than very few games try something different. Whereas back in the day, I mean, you had like your Metal Gear Solid where they'd block your control pad, and when you were fighting that boss, and you had to change to port 2 and. You'd list your memories and your games you'd played on your memory card, and things like that were just so good. I know it broke the fourth wall a bit, but it was so clever. And
I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, and it also, it gets the vibe going. People talk about it. Go, I'm going to play that game, and then obviously the sales go up because it's got something different on it. So, what was your? Obviously, you do your manuals very successfully now, and brilliant they are. Actually, stunning. And actually,
thank you. It's very
a lot better than what. The very few manuals we get nowadays. These are very high quality. What was the first manual you done, and why did you do a manual?
I'll get it for you because I have a little shelf with them all on. So
fantastic!
Through years, but yes, I'll talk about it and then I'll show you because it has changed.
Fantastic!
Yeah, so the first one I made was Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay.
Because I remember. It was in 2018 I kind of dabbled on it, but long story short on that one, basically my hard drive died and it deleted all the data, and I didn't really want to remake the manual. to be honest. But it took until 2020 with lockdown. I was like, oh, I'll just revisit it one, and I'll make Breath of the Wild with remaking the Odyssey one. But yeah, it was just one where I got the game and I opened up and it just looks a bit empty. And I was just like, oh, I remember there being like a manual in it, and even in 2018 or even in 2020, before I started doing this, I'd Google, be like, oh, can I get one elsewhere? Can I buy one from someone else? And there wasn't one around. So I thought, well, I'll just make a little something and put it in. And the very first one, or the first version of Odyssey, which is all dead and destructed now to time because I've lost it. It was on like a home printer, so it looked really, really naff, like terribly naff, and in print quality, and literally like I had scissors and it was like not straight or like.
You got to start somewhere, though.
Yeah.
The learning curve.
I learned there. And I put that in and I was happy. And then with these ones, when I revisited in 2020, I was like, I really want a good print quality and everything like that. And I knew that my printer at home couldn't do it. Even this printer here, even though it's one of those eco tank ones, which are absolutely marvelous on ink power now. So they don't literally, because one book would take up so much ink, you then need to spend 40 quid on just changing the ink in the other one. But yeah, these ones are really, really good on ink, but then it's the alignment and all that sort of thing. So I was like, I have to get basically the big industrial printers to come in. And then it was a really hard hunt because I was like, I want them this big. And they were like, you're silly. We don't do anything that big. The nearest we got is like, A6 size or something like that. Which is, of
course, I never thought of that. Yeah, because you obviously need a certain size to fit in the switch cases.
Didn't do it. So.
Because it has to be quite small and detailed, so you don't get no blurriness on the prints.
Well, yeah, but also it's like it's they sometimes the machine can cut it as well, or it saves like manual cutting and stuff. So, or it goes on the paper, and it's a crazy thing. But yeah, they all said it was like a bit too small, I think. And I found one near me. But they did very small quantities in the sense of like it was an old man sort of in his shot, and he had like these big machines like, yeah, I'll help, I can do that for you and everything. And so then he printed like 5 or 6 of the Breath of the Wild and the Mario Odyssey ones, because I did them at the same time. So I couldn't get bored stiff redoing Odyssey because, I lost the will to live with how my hard drive died. So Breath of the Wild was like the life and soul of getting that going and then reviving the other ones. I had both roughly at the same time.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, Breath of the Wild was just an inspiration from someone on a Zelda Facebook group. They had this massive notebook that they hand drew, like all the progression stuff, basically, like I've done this and I've done this quest and everything else, and they did like these lovely drawings and stuff, and I was like, I'd love that as something that I can just use and hop in and out and everything. And the app on my phone kept deleting data every time it reset or cached or something. I don't know what was going on, so I was like, I just want to play the game and open something, and I was like, again, it needs to be a book in there or something. And it just re-sparked that sort of thing to get something going. So that's why it came into it, really. But yeah, let me show you, because it's weird, because the first one looks, you've seen the latest ones, haven't you? You've seen this one, the face.
Yeah.
So weirdly enough as well, I'm no graphics designer or anything. It was terrible. There we go. I'll get this one one. So originally, they're all made as images. Each page was just an image file. Because I didn't know how to do graphics design or like how to lay out something, thingies like that. So they used to just be like this.
Oh, okay.
Where it was you can't see it, got a logo, but it was just a logo in the red screen, and then text. Well, hang on, let me get out of this little holder. Bless it, I put them in little holders. You see, you're seeing an exclusive like sort of thing. Oh, it's that take down actually, because this one's very, very small. But in terms of like text, it's very small in areas. Some things don't look a thing, and it's very plain on the inside, if that makes sense. It wasn't as in depth. Whereas this one has got like images on the back, and
they are fantastic.
Out, it's got like arrows and it's nothing like that in the original. If that makes sense. So, but that also comes with I was able to get better files, or I was better at my editing skill by this point to really do it justice, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and just to say, everyone, at the end of the show, if you listen to the end of the show, we are doing a little competition with Rowan this week. So if you'd like a chance to win a couple of Rowan's fantastic manuals, and they are, honestly, the quality of these is superb, and they're brilliant. And just to have them in your Switch cases just looks how they should look. So yeah, listen to the end of the show. We'll give you details on a little competition where you might be able to pick a couple of these up for free.
Absolutely.
So I was going to ask you now. Obviously, you're successful with your manuals and bits and pieces. Why do you think manuals died off? Because I mean, for me personally, there was nothing better. I'd saved up literally, which felt like years, but it was probably about 7 months as a kid, to buy my new Master System game. And even though they were just printed plain manuals, on the way back from the car, the half an hour ride back from the shops, you'd open your game up, you get your manual out, you sit in the car and you read through, this story looks good and I've got to do this and do that. And that was part of the experience of having a game. Now I find you buy a new PS5, PS4. I've got quite a few special editions which do tend to occasionally have them in, and you get a CD soundtrack checked in, blah, blah, blah. But I still find it so disappointing. You open a beautiful cover art of a game up, you open the case up and there's just a disc in there. And it's even the clips for a manual, but there's not one in there.
That's the annoying bit, it's the clips, and there's just nothing.
And so what do you think? Why do you think they died off, Rowan? Do you think it's more of a digital thing and people could, they'd add them in on menus or PDFs?
Weirdly enough, I think it could be a few things. So like originally they were like, it's for the environment and everything. If they remember saying that, like cut back on paper costs, keep it a bit more greener. To which I can say now, probably with recycled paper or anything about it, if you wanted to do these, which I aim to do more greener and stuff, it's definitely possible. There shouldn't really be an issue. But it's probably one area which I don't think they'll obviously make public too much in some way is like, for instance, games have been £60 for however long, but the costs of making games have increased exponentially.
Good
bigger
point.
Teams, things to actually go into production is a lot more expensive and all this sort of thing. People get raises every couple of years and all this sort of thing, but the game is still £60 back then as it was here. So in some ways they lose or they get less money than they did like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably because of that, in a way, that they were like, we got to cut costs budget wise, because no one wants the game to be more expensive at the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so then they were like, well, this is the only thing that can go. And then
that's probably a department they could afford to lose that wouldn't affect the gameplay of the game.
And then they were like, if we put the tutorial in the game, no one's going to mind. But to be honest, it frustrates me having a 2-hour tutorial because I just want to play the game.
Yeah. I see your point. Yeah, it is frustrating because it was all part of the game experience, and maybe moving more digital now. Maybe that's a big thing to do.
You learn more about the lore and some of the art that they make for these games. When you see them on promo posts and all that, it's just so beautiful, and it's just like, you see it out there, like Tears of the Kingdom, for instance. Or actually a good one is Link's Awakening. When they did the remake for Link's Awakening, they remastered or redid some of the old, like, here's Link jumping or slashing a sword, art stuff a little bit, but it only was on like a Twitter feed thing or anything. It wasn't really any way you could get it. And I was like, that's the same sort of stuff that was in a manual picture wise.
Exactly.
I've got to put it back in there because it's where it kind of belongs in a nice way, and then people can look at it and like appreciate the sort of effort that someone's put in, rather than forget about it from some tweet or banner and stuff. It's there forever then.
Yeah. So what obviously is successful now, when it comes to manual, especially with Switch, everyone knows of your business. What made it, when you first sort of done it as a hobby for yourself, to actually turning into a successful business? What was that point where you suddenly thought, oh, hold on, this is actually a bit more popular than I thought now? Was there a turning point, or did it just rocket straight off as soon as you put them on?
It kind of hit me like a rock, I think, a little bit. in the nicest of ways, but I kind of panicked and I went, "Oh god damn!" And it was a very very busy couple of weeks.
So I suppose you put them on there and thought, "Oh, I'll sell a couple," and then suddenly you've got orders coming in, thinking, "Whoa, hold on."
Yeah, so it was one of those things where it was a hobby, and I set it up and I put it on Facebook, as I said. People said they wanted a few for themselves, so it was one of those things where I was like, "Yeah, sure," put them on there and sold it like a few, and then I made another one. I think it was like, Animal Crossing and Link's Awakening thereafter, and people seemed to like, and it was going like a little steady pace, it was what you call like a little sort of side hobby thing of like, I'll work on this a little bit and then, 10, 20 people buy it or something like that, you see. And, I was like, thank you, very much for the support and everything like that. And I was going out. And it's until 3D All-Stars, Mario 3D All-Stars. That's when the demand kicked off, because Spawnwave did a video on it. He bought some.
Yeah.
And then I had like 1,000 orders I had to get through in 2 weeks.
No, what? Because Spawnwave is a big channel, Spawnwave.
Yeah, I think it was like 900 odd orders.
No way.
Yeah, and I'm not, it's a bit like I shat myself. I panicked. I was like, because I remember being on the phone to the printers, and I was like, I'm going to need like 300, of these things. And then literally within half a day, I was like, actually, no, we need to make it like double that or something,
Yeah.
So like he was there, like printing through, like just constantly doing it for me and getting it out as quick as possible. Because normally it would be on the back burner for him. That's how we worked.
Yeah.
Because he was like, it's expensive for machines to go through and everything. So you let me know when you have like quite a few ready, and then we can process them. The easier it is, the better and the less cost it is. And I was like, that's perfect. But then this one was like, yeah. So because on my Etsy shop, I put 2 weeks, because I was like, 2 weeks to get your order packaged and out the door. It gives me time to, if life things or I need to print something, I can get it done. Sort of thing. But then it came like, cool, 2 weeks. I've got to get 900 orders done. Wow. I told her, I was like, so I need all of these booklets. Please get them to me by the end of the week, so then I can do like 150 orders like a day for the next week.
Because they ain't actually getting them printed by the 2 weeks. You need to get them printed in the 1 week.
I had about like 100 on me, I think, or maybe like a bit less, because I do like so I had 100 on me, like on hand at the time. But then everyone was like, I want one. So I was like, fine, I'll say there's like an amount, you do what you do for a bit, and then I'll get them printed a long way. But yeah, there was many sleepless nights on that one, but it was one that I'm just, it really, skyrocketed the whole thing, and was like, this is actually, people do miss this. They would love to have this. And he did such a lovely job on the video. Like, and in some way, like, because he got the original, like the this sort of one and that and whatnot, and in some way, like, he hit the nail head. That was the first one, because it looks the weirdest. But, I was like, that's why I was like remaking. I was like, I'd love to send them out to him or update them and that sort of thing, because like, he is such a lovely guy, and he was so kind-hearted towards them. And yeah, it really, really helped. And it really elevated it. And it really, from then on, like with 3D All-Stars, because even though I got better at what they look like and how it formed and everything, it still was on the same format as I did originally, which was like, it kind of ends up being an image, and then it kind of goes through to them and that sort of thing. And from them, basically, Premium Edition Games said, we want you to do a manual and work with us for a little bit. And it kind of was like the step into like, people want this, I'm printing them well and everything, look wise and that sort of thing. But I now want to up my game and make it, the official but unofficial manual. It's official looking is what I say. Because it's definitely unofficial, and it states on it, there's no officiality there. I definitely need to put that as a disclaimer.
That links into my next question, actually. Have you had an issue? Do you have an issue with licensing or printing? Obviously, Nintendo, because I know Nintendo can be quite funny with their IPs, but obviously you're printing their logos and their artwork.
Yeah.
So do you have to get permission off Nintendo, or is there any red tape you have to follow? Or?
It's kind of, well, it's a fine line, I'd say, in the grey area of schemes. But I do it in the form of transformative information.
Okay.
So, or like, I wouldn't, it's not exactly fair use, but it's around that sort of area, like they do for magazines or such. So the images are grabbed, but they're used for conveying information or putting a point across.
Okay.
In the sense of the manual, it sells the effect. I'm not using it to also cause any negative impact on Nintendo or downpour their revenue. In fact, it's really nice that some people say that they bought my manual and then they'll buy the game. So if anything, it's a positive sort of,
Yeah, and rather than just actually making money off an image, you're actually using an informative product, which is actually aiding the game and aiding their product. So
so it's more like a sort of journalism thing, really, because the information gathered is from myself playing the game or what I've been able to accumulate online as well to get 100% on the facts, really, as much as possible. So that's where it kind of settles. I did try emailing them years and years ago to be like, is it okay? But no one ever replied, or it just kind of got blanked off. So I probably did get just the wrong email. But, how do you email Nintendo? I have no idea. Hello, Nintendo. I don't know, at Nintendo. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things I'm always aware of. And I think it helps push me further in the designing or getting it right, if that makes sense. Like,
that's a good point. Yeah,
which is what led me to redo a few of the older ones that didn't look as good as I wanted them to be originally. So, because if Nintendo was going to do something, it would look amazing and it would be done justice to the game. And that's what I aim to do. And I'm hoping that with how they are or how I aim to do it, as if it looks like it's not terrible and they hate it, then hopefully they'll still be okay with it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We had a guy Darren Brown on from Numbskull Designs, and they make the figures from obviously like Yakuza and bits, and he was saying a similar thing. They have to make a 3D model of it first, then it has to be shipped out to Japan. Sega then monitor that, make sure, and then come back and say, well, yeah, but can you get this right, get that right? But that all aids in getting it correct. So it's a bit similar with you, I suppose, because you're using Nintendo's images, you want to make sure that they're absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Hence why your manuals are.
Thank you. I mean, it's the thing. I spend a lot of time looking at the UIs and the game stuff because I want to be as accurate as I can, because I feel like if you're not, it's a really weird thing. Like your eyes pick up on a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're off in an area quite a bit or something, then your eyes will be like, you'll know this is unofficial or like this just a bit of and that sort of thing. So the idea is I try and make it look as official as I can, and so I put extra effort into the research process to be like, what makes this game look like this game or as good as this game, and how can I convey that? Which, if you want to know an example, actually, I do have a very funny one. Because it's actually Zelda Skyward Sword, for instance.
Right.
So I found text of, so you have the original Zelda Skyward Sword and everything and how it looks and stuff, and I'm using that for inspiration to create assets myself, or if I can't create them, then I ask an artist friend who's a lot more better at drawing and stuff than me to create those assets.
Yeah.
And I pay him, and he's very happy and amazing. So thank you. But some of the stuff, when I look through the files and everything, and you go online and you rummage through and you try and find font styles or try and create your own that mimic the styling and everything. I found one which was used for Skyward Sword, and it's that weird bendy text. Let me try and see if I can get an empty one so I can actually show you some titles. There we go. So for instance, here, if you see the hi camera, no camera, yeah, it's the title bits here where it says like collections and stuff. It's on really bizarre sort of like font, and it's all spiky and stuff. So in the font scheme, that's all everywhere, and it looks completely different. but some letters look like those letters in capitalized versions, and some of them don't in undercase letters. So if you ever look at the file or anything where there's that text written on my file, and you change the font style, it's just it's like that random text, like capital, lowercase, gibberish text, because there's a rule set as well, strangely enough, because when some two characters are the same, some will be one lowercase and some will be uppercase, depending on how they are. So I had to figure out why that is the case and that sort of things to make it look like that when I write different titles like controllers and that sort of thing, it looks like the one in the original manual's relation and also in game and stuff, so that they all correspond together.
Wow. But then that proves the work you put into these manuals, and that's why that looks so good. But that sounded like a headache getting that correct.
It was a weird text file being like, these are the ones that lowercase, these are the ones that caps, these are the rules, and you're like, okay, fine. Yeah. But also, it was a while to figure out. But it just makes it, in the end, when you print it and you look at it, you go like, yeah, that fits. When you have the Skyward Sword, you have the big golden Wii manual and that sort of stuff. Or here in the UK we had a different one, but I went with the gold one because that's the more well-known one.
Yeah.
And then this one, it looks like the little baby brother of the big one, and I was like, that's what I was after.
Perfect. Also noticed recently you've done some limited edition manuals of your manuals, which looked fantastic.
Thank you. I dabbled on the idea last year a little bit. I was like, what would people be like on a limited edition? If I made it look like foily and leather effecty, and they were like, oh, we'd have to see it to believe it, and I was like, that's fair. But to go with this sort of print thing, you kind of just, they were very kind in the end, you see. But it was a thing of they don't really do check prints. I love doing check prints. They save a lot of time and hassle. Because if something's wrong, you haven't wasted 130 or 200 odd sort of booklets, basically to do a reprint. So I messaged them about this, and I was like, this is what I want and stuff like that. And luckily they were able to do check prints, but without the foil. And I printed them out. A few changes need to be made on the Breath of the Wild one, strangely enough. But it looked beautiful. And then I was like, okay, let's add some gold foil on these things and make them look snazzy. And I can't stop looking how shiny they are.
Brilliant, great idea. And I would imagine they were quite popular. I take it because it was a limited run, I suppose they went quite quick, did they?
Yeah, so I have a website and an Etsy shop, and unfortunately the stock between them doesn't sync. So I kind of segregated the total limited run a lot.
So you've done a certain amount on one, certain amount on the other.
Yeah. For Tears of the Kingdom, it was gone within basically the day, if not the same day, which was great. And Breath of the Wild on Etsy, it was gone instantly as well. And it took a little bit longer for someone to buy the last one on the website. I was it was sitting on 3 for ages, and then there was just one left for a couple of days. And I was like, someone just buy the last one. But I forwarded a few Etsy people over to it because I didn't want to swap the stock over, if you know what I mean, at the last minute. Just especially when there's one, I feel like something would go wrong. Someone would buy 2, or there'd be 2 sold or something. And I'd be like, I'd have to let someone down, or I don't know, make another magical one.
Yeah. So you planning on any more limited run manuals in the future?
Well, I learned a lot with these. So the thickness of Tears of the Kingdom was pretty much the extreme extent of how thick these could be, especially with how the effects work and the foiling, the coating of it. But I think it depends on the game, really. Metroid Dread would be great with a red foil. I think
it would, yeah, very good.
That would look gorgeous on the Dread. But on the others, when I look at sort of some of the designs and you think bigger, an effect, foiling and that sort of thing, I'm not 100% sure of which ones. I mean, if anyone has suggestions, I'm up for it. But having ones in the future, I definitely wouldn't say no. But I feel like this one for the Zelda ones, especially, it just kind of suited them more because they're more book looking anyway. If that
They
makes
are, and
sense.
that's that sort of style of game that fits well in with that, doesn't it? And the style of the cover and everything that really fits in with what that game is about and where it's set. So yeah, it's perfect for that. Have you ever considered doing manuals for other platforms or other games? Or
well, technically, I kind of have. Because from Numbskull, I worked on a manual for one of their releases.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, that was Clive and oh God, what the last one was? It was the bunny one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can't think of the name.
But I did the manual for that. It's fantastic! In my cabinet, and I know what it looks like. But but I did the manual for that one, and that was a PlayStation and Switch and that sort of thing, sort of release. And so there's been a couple around that I've been commissioned for here and there, which was really, really lovely.
Oh, brilliant! So I was going to ask you, have you had devs or publishers, get hold of you and say, would you like to make manuals for us and sort of do it freelance? And so obviously you have with Numbskull. Yes. Is there any others you've been asked to do or that you can talk about?
Not too much, and I don't think on the NDA side of it.
Yeah,
there's some that's possibly in the planning works and whatnot.
Yeah,
but some of them, when you think of when I think of this, because now I'm like, it's nice to try and make this more of like half of like a full-time job. So I have my firefighter job as one half, and then this is the other half. And this is a lot more free and that sort of stuff. I kind of got like in a weird flow of working.
Yeah.
But I some of the games I love making for devs and that sort of thing, and some others they pitch an idea and they're like, can you do this by next month for X amount? And I'm like, absolutely not. In a sense, because I'm like, it is a big time crunch that you're asking for, and I completely understand that you're on a crunch, but also for like, if you want me to spend, because these take a while for me to make, especially digitally, it's a lot of time consumed in there. And it's a weird thing. It's like sort of, especially when they want it that quick or in instance, and then you're only getting like, they're only asking for like, X amount that isn't enough to keep you over, because essentially this is on that weird thing of like hobby to work type thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's like I say, whether it's a time crunch, I would imagine a lot more time consuming than you can imagine with your images, getting the text right, actually writing it, what you put in it. So yeah, I would imagine, especially as you're still got another job as well, it must be hard to combine all that to try and get one done on a strict schedule.
But I love working with devs too, because they're such great people.
Yeah.
And it's so like, it does quicken up a lot of the process in a way, because whereas like, I have this idea for this image here or this sort of thing and everything like that, I don't have to search for it for like endlessly. You just ask them and they send it to you, so it is really good. And I've worked with some lovely people from Numbskull, and sort of I said I first started in premium edition games and that sort of thing. I did a couple of theirs, and yeah, they're just everyone in the community is absolutely just lovely anyway. And
it must be nice for you as well that something that started off as almost a hobby or just wanting a Mario Odyssey booklet, is now you're getting recognition from companies that want you to actually make them for them. So it must be a lovely feeling knowing that you've progressed that far and your product's that good. These companies want to use you to do their manuals. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. And I bet probably a few years ago, you probably never even imagined you'd be where you are now.
Yeah. Tell me like 5 years ago, I'll be doing this. I'd be like, you're shitting me. Don't.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
But it's a really nice, overwhelming filming as well, that they think my work's good enough, and then I make something actually that is official, like it has the official stamp and approval. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a really good sort of insight as well for me, especially when working with some of the Switch manual side of things, that there are rules and regulations when they actually have a manual still when making them. But it's good because then I can take that knowledge on to, sort of in the future of other manuals and stuff that I've done to be like, to, I wouldn't say like make them proud, but to make it look better for them, so they still don't hopefully hate me and kill me.
I'm sure that's not the case at all. I was going to ask you, I mean, obviously, I would presume you're more of a one-man band. I know you've mentioned a couple of times that you get a bit of artwork done by someone, and obviously your printing goes out to companies, but you predominantly just work on your own. Do you have anyone in-house who helps you, or is it a bit of a one-man band?
It is a bit of a one-man band most of the time. I'll say occasionally when postage was high in times, and a friend of mine is around, he does the postage side of things. Helps with the post side, because then I can focus on design rather than just doing post endlessly. But yeah, it's one of those things where you think, oh, it'll be great to get more people, but you don't necessarily know how to get more people or work on the same sort of design of things and stuff. But yeah, it's and also, I think like I literally cannot afford someone for 30 grand a year. So I haven't even attempted that sort of too much yet. But occasionally, like it's basically me, one really good friend, Stewie. He helps me with postage and that sort of thing, or images if I need like images on a game and that sort of thing. He'll give it a run through and send them through on screenshots so I can have a look at them.
Sort of take the edge off that time-consuming bits and pieces, and that's good. You got people around you that can help. Bits and pieces.
When he plays a game, he 100% it all the time. You see.
Oh, so he's great for doing that.
Yeah. So when I do these sort of ones, like Link's Awakening, for instance, I played like the first 2 hours or so before starting the manual, and then I completed it afterwards and that sort of thing. But getting some of the images of all the items and all that sort of stuff is end game, like, nearer the end of the game, we have to think. So because while I'm spending 8 hours designing stuff, he's already doing the game still complete, because he wanted to play the game anyway. And then he sends me the screenshot over of what they are, so then I can just pick and choose, And we did that a lot for Luigi's Mansion. So
that's what I was going to ask you about, obviously the research side of it, because when I was thinking today before recording, I was thinking, do you have to then play 100 hours in Tears of the Kingdom to, Breath of the Wild to make the manual first? Do you know what I mean? To actually cover everything, do you have to actually get right for that game 100% and think, right, now I know what everything is, now let's get the book done? Because that could be very time consuming as well. An enjoyable time consuming, but
it absolutely is an enjoyable time. Playing games for work. But it say it's a hit and a miss. Time is different for each game. Because each game is differently as complicated as the last one. And so I think it's like I'll play it for like a few hours to get a feel, because a manual shouldn't be like a walkthrough guide and that sort of thing. It's only giving you sense of the lore and stuff and helping you progress or reminding you of some things and stuff. So it's nothing where I have to be end game. So I tend to probably, to be honest, for Tears of the Kingdom, for what I want to do, because that had a progressional map, stuff, tick box sort of thing. I did endlessly not sleep for 3 days and just play Tears of the Kingdom to complete it and everything. So, and then it was just a month of just hammering it through. And I hardly slept every day, literally. I booked off work as well. I took it as like a thing, to get out, because I was very excited for it, but as well as like I really wanted to work on something, because it was a sequel booklet to my booklet at the same time. So I wanted to really marry them together. But for something like that, because it has progression in it, then I have to complete the game or get near to completion, but know really well what the other stuff is, and then get them sent through. But it's something I really want to say that I do play the games, which is always good, but I also do check online for certain things. But I've learned to not rely just on online, because
not necessarily true or correct.
No. I had Animal Crossing was an example, and it was nearly really bad, so bad. So I played a bit of Animal Crossing and everything. And this was also like a progression one. So it had like a Critterpedia section for bugs and stuff and everything. And one of them was the fossil section and everything. And I didn't collect every fossil. And I was like, okay. And I went on IGN's checklisting and everything. And they said, because it only came out like a week or so or whatnot. And they said, like, here's the list of all the fossils and you can check off as you go on our website and stuff, like they do.
Yeah.
Stuff. And I was like, perfect. I'll use this information because it's from a reliable source, I'm sure. It was the one from New Leaf. They copied and pasted it over. Because I did all that work and I was printing the book at the time that night with the company and everything, because they told me they were printing it through, and I was playing the game, and then I got a fossil that I was like, I don't remember putting that fossil in my book.
Oh no.
And then I checked the thing and I was like, oh, and then I spent a few hours researching. I was like, oh shit, these are all the ones from this game. They literally just screwed me over. So then I checked like 10 other sources to get the exact right list and check between them. And then I redid the pages, sent it in the morning. I had to pay extra to get it printed because they already printed some or had it thing. And then, and it was all right in the end.
No.
But it was one of those where like, you can't just rely on one source. So as much as I play it myself just to get a good grasp of it, I use like 5 or 6 other online sources just to make sure the information, even the ones I make on how mechanics work and stuff, I might think like this works one way like this because it's just what I've been doing. But actually, it could be something else.
I didn't think of that. No, it's a good idea. Cross-check with different sources to make sure that you're getting everything covered, I think, and tick all the boxes.
Oh, absolutely. But it's been like, that's the whole thing. It's been like you're always learning something new, and I'm glad I learned some of the big don'ts before.
Before you did them.
Yeah.
Well, brilliant. Well, thanks very much, Rowan. That's absolutely fascinating having an insight into your manuals and bits and pieces. I'll jump straight on now to the competition. Now, what we're going to do, the end of next week, Rowan's going to join our Discord. Now, this means for our competition, you have a week. And what we're going to do in our screenshots section of Discord, start uploading your screenshots. And on your screenshot, put MBPUK comp underneath in text. And at the end of the week, when you get Rowan to flick through, he's going to pick his favourite screenshot. And then you'll luckily enough, you'll be getting 2 manuals. All right. So remember, put it in screenshots. Get your favourite images, as many as you like, and put as many as you want in there. Because it's a bit of an underused side of the Discord. Let's get people in there. Let's get some screenshots up. Let's have a bit of fun. And then we'll get Rowan to pick the winner at the end of the week. And you'll have 2 manuals wing your way to you. So how do you feel about that then, Rowan?
Sounds good. Good.
So get your whatever system you're playing, get the screenshots up, because I love looking through the screenshots people do, and some people are so artistic especially now, with people with photo modes and that you have on your games now, and they're getting black and white and moody, and they're putting images in, and
cinematic in that.
It's cinematic, so that will be good. But have a go at that. That'll be brilliant to see some more screenshots going in there. And a good chance for you to, win 2 of these fantastic manuals. But also leads us on to what you're hoping to play this week, Rowan.
What am I hoping to play this week? That's very good. Strangely enough, one of the games, probably controversial in the middle of such, I've been looking forward to play Pal World with a friend of mine. You see, I've heard things about it, and it's just one of those games I just want to give a go to see what it's like. I know it's a bit janky and that sort of thing, probably. But
I had a friend of mine's been playing it, and he's not normally into them sort of games, but he's absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
he's absolutely loved it. That's that game's had crazy downloads, isn't it? Absolutely mad.
It looks insane, and it's kind of nice in a way that when I saw some like how the combat's done, I was like, I kind of wanted Pokemon to do that for a while. Have like a real-time battle with your Pokemon, and you do something else or whatever. Or, you see it rather than be turn-based. But so
will you be jumping in that with some friends, or will you do single player?
Yeah, no, it'll be a couple of friends. So it'll be the person probably that helps me do some postage if he has good internet on his cruise, and then an American guy which we call Dog because his name is Dogs is Happy, but he's actually called Brian. So, but I call him Dogs all the time. So I'm like, all right, Dog. And everyone's just like, why are you calling someone a dog? That's just, But yeah, he also sort of like helps. Like if I ever get stuck on a page, I send it to those two because we're always in like a little group chat together. So they tell me if there's something that looks a bit more rubbish or see where I'm going with it. But
Brilliant.
yeah, he's got it. He's really loving it. And I'm like, you know what? I love co-op games anyway. I'm a huge fan of them. So I'm looking forward to that. As well as, actually, there was another game I saw the other day. Oh, I spoke about Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Like, I kind of want to.
Oh,
I don't know whether to get it like next week, but like the week after.
I take it you've played Spider-Man and Miles Morales, have you?
Yes. Yeah. I played the first two. And they're brilliant games. Love them. You know. I just really like Spider-Man games.
Oh, this Spider-Man 2 is fantastic.
Yeah,
we discussed it on the show a bit. We thought for the first half maybe the story wasn't as strong as the first game, but I found the second half of the game, the story just ramps up and sends you off on it. It is brilliant. Nice. And also I just like it's like Spider-Man, but just that little bit better and everything. So your graphics are really, that touch up. You've got your ray tracing. New York has expanded, so you've got an extra area across the bridge you can go to. Cool. So and then you've got the different story arcs. But yeah, very good, very very good game. I mean, I think if it weren't for Baldur's Gate 3, that would have been the game of the year. I think last year. So
absolutely. I mean, I know someone that's played Baldur's Gate and everything, and they've sunk millions of hours into it. Yeah.
I don't know anyone that's played that has played it for a few hours and didn't like it. Everyone I know who's played that has just played it for months.
Yeah. And I'm scared to start playing it because I know that if I start playing it, it would already be 2025, for me like tomorrow.
Well, a guy I know was playing it, and all he does is play online shooters, first-person shooters. And I said, what are you playing at a minute? Oh, Baldur's Gate 3. I was like, why are you playing Baldur's Gate 3? He's like, well, everyone raved about it. I said, do you liking it? Oh, yeah, it's one of the best games I've ever played. And I'm like, you just spent 10 years playing Call of Duty, and now you're playing Baldur's Gate 3. That's how good that game is, I think. It just draws the audience in.
Converts you to sort of.
Yeah. So is that all you're looking at playing next week, Rowan?
Yes, because I'm a little bit busy.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Sort of in the sense of like I've got birthdays sort of next week, and we're going on holiday actually a little bit next weekend.
Oh, wonderful! Have a bit of a break. Take the Switch. As in the words of George, just gaming on the go.
I'm tempted to take my Switch so I can play some more Super Mario RPG, which I'm working on at the minute.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. Oh,
and some Mario Kart, probably. Why not?
Yeah, there's always time for Mario Kart.
Absolutely.
Me personally, hopefully starting Halo 3 this week. Looking forward because, I mean, even though they're old games, they're all new to me. That's like having a brand new system for me. So
you say Payday or Heyday?
No, Halo 3.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Halo 3. Yeah. So they're like new games to me. So I'm so looking forward to, getting stuck into that series. Loving it so far. We didn't live stream last week, so apologies about that. We couldn't. We had to cancel last minute, but we will be back on our Tuesday live stream, which we are doing the Grand Theft Auto series at the minute. So we've done 3. We've done Vice City. We're now on San Andreas. So that will be 7:30 on Tuesday. So if you fancy jumping on board, come to say hello and having a playthrough, seeing us play terribly, showing that we're not actually very good gamers, because as George said, if you're not a gamer, you're a podcaster. So I will also be hopefully finishing Horizon this week. As we spoke earlier, that's got its claws in me, that game.
Good.
And I shall be playing it straight after finishing this record, and that's my afternoon sorted. And also trying to get my score registered for Pac-Man, and I promise I will do it this week. Digital Monk Greet, I'm very sorry I haven't done it yet, but I will get a score listed this week. But that'll be pretty much what I'm hoping to play this week. And just leaves me to say thank you very much, Rowan. Do you want to just shout out where people can find you if they want to pick up some manuals?
Yeah, absolutely. The best place probably is my website, which is mbpuk.net. For everyone that doesn't know, then it is Mike Bravo Papa Uniform Kilo for those
very well
phonetic alphabet. But yes, and then also I'm on Etsy as MBPUK as well. So if you look for shops on Etsy and or such, you should be able to find me there.
Yeah.
Or if you just Google Switch manuals or on that or Etsy, hopefully you should find me pop up.
Yeah, we'll also we'll add links to both those in the show notes. Going straight to those. I will, once the show's out, and then this week I will pop links on our Discord, and hopefully Rowan will be joining at the end of the week to pick the winner for our competition. So don't forget absolutely. That. And then what we'll get Rowan to do is when he has these new products or sales or bits and pieces on, he can just drop it straight in our links on there, so you don't miss any offers or anything new that Rowan's got coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So just say again, thank you very much, Rowan, for coming on. That's been so interesting. Loved hearing the insides work and how you got going and how the manuals get work. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant fun.
It's an experience. It's a learning experience all the time. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
No.
And if any of your audience or such sort of have suggestions for future manuals and whatnot, just feel free to give me a message. I can add to them and look to get them done.
There you go, guys. Get your ideas going, because Rowan's open for new ideas for booklets. So let's just see how that goes, eh? You'll get some strange ones, I tell you.
Absolutely. I've had a few strange ones. Yeah.
Can you do a Luskin track simulator? PC version 2004.
For MS-DOS.
Yeah, for MS-DOS. But no, that just leaves me to say one thing, listeners. There's nothing wrong with being given an unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. Cheers, Rowan.
Thank you very much.